Hey guys, we're ready for chapter 7. Last week I asked you to explain to me what type of figurative language the phrase "my hands are tied" is. And the correct answer was an idiom. It's just a common phrase meaning that I can't do anything else at this point. So a lot of you had a great answer on that one. We're going to start with first bell, 8:12 a.m. So the kids are now at school. Rachel stood with Missy on the playground. At exactly 8:10 a.m., she gave Missy a see-you-in-a-minute look and slipped in through the door. She had almost reached her classroom when the first bell rang. Rachel loved coming to class early because it gave her a few quiet moments alone with Mr. Fabiano. He would stand by her desk talking to her, never pressuring her to talk back, and it was a pleasure simply to be near him and feel his words wash over her. Now she entered room 238 and looked around, but the room was empty. Where was Mr. Fabiano? Rachel wondered. Then she spied the large black letters on the blackboard. Class 6238. Good morning. You will have a substitute teacher today. I know you will give Mrs. Muchmore the same respect and attention you would give to me. You all know the routine for Friday. See you on Monday, Mr. Fabiano. Rachel stamped her foot and the sharp sound echoed in the deserted classroom. Substitute? As if anyone could substitute for Mr. Fabiano. It was the worst, most depressing way to start the day. And it was a Friday, which meant 3 whole days without Mr. Fabiano. The weekend was ruined. She drifted over to where Tommy Feathers used to sit. A photograph of Tommy hung on the wall, but Rachel turned away from the grinning face and glanced at his old desk. She reached down and quickly touched the surface, running her thumb over the place where a heart had been carved into the wood and the letters TF plus RW crudely cut inside the heart. Missy came into the room and stared at the blackboard. Oh no, a sub, Missy said, reading. What a bummer. Rachel and Missy had been best friends since 2nd grade. Before Rachel stopped talking, they'd get on the phone and lose track of time in deep talks about boys, music, religion, God, ghosts, ESP, telepathy. They agreed that it was possible to read another person's thoughts if you were close enough. Missy was fat. Rachel often wondered if Missy's own problems helped her to understand Rachel's. Missy knew what it was like to have the kids point fingers, make nasty comments, whisper behind her back. She knew what it was like to have something eating at you from the inside. More than anybody else, Missy accepted Rachel's silence. Other kids got all nervous and chatty around Rachel, not Missy. When they were together, Missy didn't try to fill the dead space with lots of empty chit-chat the way most kids did. The silence always felt light and easy between them. Loud laughter outside the door. Karen and Jasmine raced into the room. I won, Karen said, laughing and breathing hard. They won, Jasmine said, pointing. Hi, Missy. Hi, Rachel. Last fall, when Rachel stopped talking, she stopped smiling too. Now she gave the girls a small wave as a gesture intended to mean hello. At the beginning of the year, Rachel considered Karen and Jasmine close friends. After Rachel stopped talking, the other 2 girls still acted friendly toward her, but things were somehow different now. Anyway, Jasmine was saying, I would have beat you if you hadn't tripped me. Tripped you? The girls took seats next to each other on the other side of the room. You tripped yourself. Christopher Ransom lumbered into the room. I'm ready to go home now, he announced, flopping down onto his desk and stretching out 2 big feet. Christopher's mother was president of the PTA. His father was a heart surgeon. Christopher liked to brag, but his father cut people up. He was rich, loud, and obnoxious. Jessica and Vicky came in next. Rachel thought they looked a little funny together since Vicky was so short and Jessica was the tallest kid in the class. Oh, a sub, Jessica groaned, seeing the note on the blackboard. Fact, Christopher smirked. He rubbed his hands gleefully. And what better way to end the week than tormenting some brain-damaged sub? Christopher's voice put Rachel on edge. The kid was annoying beyond belief. To help tune him out, she watched the rest of the class enter the room. Tim and Jordan ran in, laughing with Robert and Corey right behind. Robert and Corey were part of a set of triplets. The 3rd triplet, Josh, was in Miss Riley's class. Then Rhonda came in and plopped down next to Missy. My last day, Bastian shouted as he entered the room. I thought you said Monday was your last day, Karen said. My dad changed plans, Bastian said. Farewell, peons. I'm leaving you for the beaches of Hawaii. You'll look great in a hula-hula skirt, Jessica told him. You should talk, String Bean, Bastian retorted. Remember that time you wore a dress? I laughed so hard I almost peed in my pants. Shut up, Bastian, Rhonda said. Bastian had a mean streak, and Rachel didn't trust him. He had moved into town just before the beginning of 6th grade and immediately made his presence felt by teasing kids in class. He invented nasty little nicknames for just about everybody. Missy, Thunder Thighs, Vicky, the Shrimp, Jessica, String Bean. He called Tommy Feathers the Professor, or sometimes Dr. Drool. Sean O'Day walked into the room and quietly took his seat at the back of the room. He was slender, with a pale, sleepy complexion. Rachel noticed that he was wearing the same Chicago Bulls t-shirt he'd worn the day before. Now he glanced at her shyly and busied himself digging into his backpack. "You are my sunshine, my only sunshine," Christopher sang loudly. "You make me happy when skies are gray." "Leave him alone," Bastian told him. "Not funny." "Opinion," Christopher grinned. Sean and Bastian had one thing in common. Sean's father, like Bastian's, had served in the Air Force. Sean's father had left the military years ago, but Bastian said that didn't matter. Air Force is Air Force, once and forever. Sean was the one kid Bastian never picked on, and he wouldn't let anybody else pick on him either. The newest kid in class, Sky Reed, came in last. He had moved from Southern California in January. Tall and lanky, Sky had an earring and wore his blonde hair in a long braid. Bastian teased him about the earring. He and Sky got into a fight on the playground. Nobody won the fight, but Bastian's lip got cut, and after that, nobody teased Sky about the earring or anything else. "Where's the sub?" Tim asked, drumming on his desk. He was another boy who always made Rachel edgy. "You watched the high school baseball game? They kicked Southside's butt. Anybody watch Star Trek last night? That was pretty freaky." "Hey, so where's the sub?" "Sub is short for subhuman," Sebastian said. "Looks like she ditched us." Christopher started to sing. "We got ditched by a ditzy submarine, a ditzy submarine." "Not funny," Vicky said. "Not even close." "Opinion," Christopher replied smugly. Mr. Peacock came over the loudspeaker to make the morning announcements. "Good morning," he said. "Today is Friday, April 28th. "Fact," Christopher said. "It's a beautiful spring day," Mr. Peacock said. "Opinion," Christopher smirked. "Shut up," Rhonda told him. Mr. Peacock proceeded to run through the day's business. Sign-ups for jazz band, no cheerleading practice, track meet next Thursday, bring in cans for the food drive, important reminder, no hats allowed in school. "Please stand for the pledge," Mr. Peacock said. Kids looked around, unsure of what to do. Bastian got up first. That was the one thing his father had taught him. You stand for the flag. Always. When Bastian stood up, the other boys started getting out of their seats. Soon, the whole class was pledging in ragged unison. One nation, under God, with liberty and justice for all. They sat down. Still no sub. "This lady must be totally clueless," Bastian said, loudly cracking his knuckles. "Opinion," Christopher said. "It could be a man," Jessica said. "Fact," Christopher put in. "I'm begging you," Rhonda told Christopher. "Shut up." "Attendance," Karen said from the front of the room. "Who's absent?" "I am," Christopher said. "I wish," Rhonda retorted. "John's out," Bastian said. "Really?" "David's not coming in," Robert said. "He got an asthma attack yesterday." "Melinda's sick too," Vicky said. Rachel watched Karen fill out the attendance, checking off present or absent. Her eyes lit on Tommy Feathers' empty desk. There was no place on any attendance form to check off dead. "How many hot lunches?" Karen said. "Who elected you teacher?" Bastian demanded. "She's class president," Jessica pointed out. "That's her job." "Hot lunch?" Karen asked again, ignoring Bastian. "What are we having?" Corey asked. "You don't want to know," Rhonda said. "Grease ball pizza, guaranteed 90% soaked in grease." Karen counted 8 hot lunches, 5 chocolate milks, and 3 whites. "Okay, who wants to bring it to the office?" Karen asked. Me. Rachel thought it was funny the way everybody raised their hands by habit without a teacher. It made her want to smile, but she didn't. Rachel watched Karen standing there, deciding whom to pick. She really admired Karen. The girl was a born leader. Her neat black bangs and dark eyes gave her a no-nonsense look. People took her seriously. "Come to think of it," Karen said, "I'll go myself." "No fair," Tim moaned. "Hey," Jessica said, "don't forget to tell them about the sub." "Don't worry," Karen said, bouncing out of the room. I'll give a lecture while she's gone, Christopher announced. No, you won't, Rhonda told him. Why not? Tim shot back. Ever hear of the First Amendment? He has the right to free speech. He has the right to be quiet, Rhonda retorted. Rachel folded her hands. It was more than that, much more. Not just the right to be silent, but the right to remain silent. It was a right protected by federal law. All right, that chapter was a little longer, so thanks for listening. One of my prompts or challenges for this chapter would be for you to think of one character from the story and give me a character trait for that character. So think of Karen, for example. Don't use this one in your answer, but the author tells us that Karen was a natural-born leader. So I want you to pick another character from the story and give me a trait about that character. All right?